What's up, Heather?
What's up, B?
And what's up, Aaron? Back on Tortured Bourbon to close out something that's near and dear to our livers. That's our final installment of Old Forester Fridays.
Yeah, glad to be here for the big one. I've been watching this whole series. I've got high hopes for this blend.
Yeah.
But before we jump into the madness, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so that B can not annoy the ever-living out of me.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is the 5th and final chapter of our Old Forester mini-series. It's really not even mini, honestly.
No, it's a series.
It's a solid 5.
Yep.
And trust me, you don't want to miss what we do next.
Look, and while you're at it, go ahead and make Heather happy because it takes a lot. And it will help me out if you'll just go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. The links are right there. That way you can stay up to date with all of her ramblings and her behind-the-scenes chaos and whatever else she does. Photo shoots, existential rants, talking about Lululemon and whatever. Just go for it.
The Lululemon?
Yeah, the Lululemon.
Because if one of us is going to go on an existential rant, it's definitely going to be me and not your 90s grunge situation.
All right, that's fair.
I know it is. So on that note, what are we doing today?
We're going to do a bourbon show.
Are we?
We're trying.
Excellent.
So today we're chasing a myth, a legend born not in a rick house, but in the comment section of Reddit. What's Reddit?
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding. I know what Reddit is.
He's lying. Have you ever been on Reddit?
Yeah.
Is that only because it was linked in Pack Pride?
Maybe.
You've been on 4chan?
No.
Good.
So this is called, it really is mythological. It's called 1915, which is so creative. It's a fan-made blend of Old Forester 1910 and 1920. How did they come up with 1915? I don't know.
It's called an average.
So to wrap up Old Forester Fridays, we're going to full mad sciences. We've got a 1910 and a 1920. We got our own pre-blended 1915 with a fake level and everything. Hell, I even think we got a periodic table and some titration burettes back here somewhere too.
I'm sorry, what? I know what that
This is some chemistry stuff up in here. This is the big finale, folks. 4 weeks of Whiskey Row has led to this moment. Time to find out if the internet got it right or if they just created bourbon fan fiction.
That could be fun, though.
Could be.
Have you ever read Twilight fan fiction?
No, but I got a feeling it's different.
Don't. So we're going to start with the smooth operator, Old Forester 1910. This one's double-barreled, aged again in a heavily toasted barrel for that sweet dessert-like profile.
Yep. The notes for this one are chocolate, caramel, marshmallow. It's basically described as sippable creme brulee.
Oh, B's excited.
93 proof. MSRP around 55.
Yeah, it's the softest of the Whiskey Row bunch, like a flannel blanket in a bottle.
Marshmallow high.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Little creme brulee. You know what they do with the fire?
Oh, we
Yeah.
know. We know. They caramelize that sugar on top.
Oh, yeah. The notes are chocolate, caramel, and marshmallow, which we're already...
which Aaron already described.
Yep.
I smell that chocolate.
It's like a s'mores.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I taste the chocolate.
Yeah. Yes. It's a milk chocolate. It's not a dark chocolate.
Yes, it is a milk chocolate.
Yeah. Milk chocolate and marshmallow.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
It's like a
So
piece.
the Whiskey Row series is, even if you give it respect, it's underrated. Because every one of them is absolutely solid.
I'm glad you used that word.
And to be clear, when we did our Whiskey Row series, the 1910 was our quote-unquote least favorite. Right. And it's still fantastic.
That marshmallow chocolate flavor is strong. Yeah. So this tells me that it's time for B to build me a fire pit out back to make s'mores.
That's what it always comes down to. What can I do for her?
We can take care of that.
I know we can.
This is definitely a hush your mouth.
Yeah.
It's, for $55, it's great dessert. It's milk chocolate. A lot of times in bourbon, you can get a cacao. You can get an espresso. Yeah. This is milk chocolate. What blows me away is, unless I'm mistaken, all the Whiskey Row series have the same mash bill.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So they're kind of playing with that same magic that Wild Turkey plays with, where they get one mash bill and they just do
amazing things with it.
yeah, just wild things with it.
Yeah.
And
It's very soft and gentle and subtle.
it
This
is.
one.
Now, I will say this about Old Forester. The only hang up, now for me, it's perfect because it does have that rye.
Mm-hmm.
It does have a kick. Even their 93 proof, there's a spice at the end. So I get why for some people.
Bruh, don't hate the player, hate the game.
But I get for some people, Old Forester, for those who are introduced to bourbon through weeded or they're introduced through Buffalo Trace, this has a very different flavor profile. But it is rock solid bourbon.
Old Foresters are always going to have that signature spice. But this one mellows so nicely. And I really, really enjoyed that one.
That one was pretty tasty.
Now, next we have the heavy hitter. This is Old Forester 1920, and to be clear, this is one of my favorites in terms of what you can always buy on the shelf. It's 115 proof. It's not here to make friends. It's here to wreck your palate in the best way. It is fantastic.
B's been a fan of this one for a long time. All right, so it's got big and bold flavors: dark cherry, cocoa, spice, and oak.
Even on the nose, you know it immediately.
Oh yeah. Oh, the cherry and cocoa.
Comes right out.
Oh, that is such a fun smell.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted.
How much is this one?
This comes in around $65.
So people say this is, I think, one of the best of the Whiskey Row series.
It's a lot. Of
So the
favorite.
only one to me that tops it is the 10-year, and the 10-year is so difficult to find. But you walk into any decent liquor store, this is on the shelf.
Yeah. Now, during COVID, there was a moment where this one was harder to find.
You're absolutely
I remember
right.
that.
Well, there was also a moment we thought we were all going to die.
Yeah, and we didn't have toilet paper.
Right.
So the fact that we didn't have Prohibition-style bourbon, we couldn't even wipe our butts.
Everyone was drinking too much. It's fine.
But you're right.
So-
But normally, under normal circumstances, this is available.
Yeah. I actually do have a bottle of this one at home that I enjoy a lot.
Oh,
It's like the Mike Tyson of bourbon. Brutal, but controlled. And it actually makes a really good old-fashioned.
It does make a great old-fashioned. It's not as chocolatey as the 1910, but...
This is not Woodford Reserve.
And it's also not Jack Daniels.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack Daniels, you were definitely going for mellow. And Woodford Reserve, you were definitely going for balanced and not
Inoffensive.
But this gives you
Some heat. Spice.
it's only one man's opinion, and that marries none. But to me, bourbon is supposed to have a kick. And all of Old Forester, whether it be 93 proof, 100 proof, 80 proof, 115 proof, it all has that. At the end, there's either a pepper or a baking spice that lets you know you had bourbon.
This one is pepper to me.
Absolutely.
It's got a pepper kick at the end.
Very peppery.
Yeah.
Mm.
It lets you know what you're drinking.
But at the front, it's very sweet.
Very sweet. Very sweet on the nose and at the front of the palate.
I mean, there's you can debate whether it's caramel or creme brulee or butterscotch, but it's sweet.
It's absolutely
right,
sweetness.
and it's just a matter of in ranking those what you've had prior to it. Quite frankly.
But I do think it's interesting comparing it to the 1910. There is a lot more pepper and heat at the end of the 1920.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It makes the 1910 seem even more
They're
mellow.
really completely different.
Well, if I was living in Prohibition, I would want something that was a little stronger.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Give me some kick. Give me some bang for my buck. If I'm going to jail for this,
Let
it
me
better
know
be worth it.
So Heather, what do we have now?
Oh, this is the main event, B.
This is so cool.
To go back to Mike Tyson in the ring here, this is why we're all here today. This legendary, what my generation would call a TikTok trend, except it's not because it came from the internet. It's the legendary 1915 blend. So we've got ours pre-mixed, and it actually has a very official looking, completely fake label. This was done by a friend of ours.
So we have a dear Patreon, and he has supported us so much. He wants to remain nameless, but thank you. So we started. So here we have this 50-50 mix of 1910 and 1920. But look, I mean, it has a real label. They made a label. It's in a 1924 10-year-old bottle. Bless it. So,
Blessings.
I mean, it's a 50-50. So, Aaron, what can you tell us?
So, like, some people mix it in different ratios
Sure.
too. So,
Right.
like, you could get a 60-40 theoretically and call it a 1916.
Well, there you go.
Okay, we'll get a little mathy math for me. Let's go with the 1915 50-50. All right, y'all.
So it actually reminds me of that one time I mixed the 1970s Austin Nichols Wild Turkey with the 70-year anniversary 101.
Which she did on this show.
You did
and
do
so
that.
I did that on this show, so we'll plug it in. We'll
Yeah.
plug it above her halo
Yeah.
or whatever she says.
Okay.
But this is what happens when the fan base starts doing your job for you. So let's see if the hive mind actually struck gold.
I love the hive mind. That's straight out of Resident Evil. Like the hive, like the Umbrella
Yeah.
Corporation. That's awesome.
Oh
Look
my
at that.
God.
Boom. Resident Evil.
Anyway,
A PS2 game.
Yeah.
for those of us who aren't complete nerds, we have made it through 4 straight Fridays of Old Forester. So this is the finale, and it is time to take this fan favorite
Yeah.
legend, internet legend. Let's go
Internet
with that.
legend.
Let's go with that.
On the Reddits.
Let's find out, because B knows so much about the Reddits, and find out if this bird. I don't do that much time on Reddit. It's kind of it can get weird.
Yeah.
Let's find out if this internet favorite bourbon blend really lives up to the hype.
It's really
Are
cool.
you guys ready?
Here you go. Here you go.
Well, I like the nose right off the bat.
All right. So it smells like Old Forester. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck, but
Well, but it brings in the marshmallow and chocolate from the 1910
Yeah.
for me.
I think I've underrated the 1910. I think I have.
Yeah.
I think maybe you should always have the 1910 after you've eaten dinner, because it's like dessert.
It's not too overly like strong. It's just
Yeah,
a good.
it's-
Maybe
it's
after
a-
breakfast, after lunch, and after dinner, it'll be fantastic.
Sure. Tell me how your career goes after that.
Hopefully retired. Cheers.
Okay, so
It's literally a blend of the two. You
it,
get-
Yeah.
thank you.
Imagine that. You get a
Thank
bunch of
you.
the chocolate, but you get the really good stuff with the 20.
He's an engineer. This is good.
Yeah.
So basically, we're master blenders. We're Dixon Deadman right here.
That's exactly what I thought you were about to say. Right.
I mean, all the love to 2XO, but we just knocked it out of the park. Just give me a 1920 and a 1910, and I've got it.
Now you
Cheers,
get to
y'all.
experiment with ratios.
That's right.
All right.
See if 1917 is better.
That's when B was born. We could commemorate his birth year.
That's right. I beat the Nazis and I beat the Huns. I'm there for it. What you talking about?
In all seriousness, it's tasty.
It is tasty. It's got the very spicy Old Forester taste to it, obviously, because it's both Old Forester.
But the 1910 mellows.
It does mellow it. So the higher proof 1920 gets cut down a little bit, but you get the chocolate with it.
You know, there's a lot of chocolate in here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of chocolate.
There is. B made a good point earlier, much to my chagrin. So the 1910 is a milk chocolate. The 1920 is a little bit more of a bitter, like dark chocolate, and this kind of gives you that middle ground.
So
Yeah.
the question is, why isn't Old Forester pumping this out?
I don't know.
They want you to buy 2 bottles.
And mix it, yeah.
And mix it. I'm not mad at it.
No.
Now we gotta blend the 1924 with the 1920, make it 22.
We just gotta get crazy. Let's
Yeah.
go get all the Old Foresters we have. Let's make a King Statesman ranch.
If we blend them all together, what's the date? So we got a 20, we got a 10, 24. Old Forester Statesman doesn't have one.
We'll just call it the Great Gatsby, and we'll call it.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And we'll just call it a day.
The Gilded Age, and
Yes.
we'll move forward.
Yes, exactly. And we'll make it green for the Green Lantern in the Great Gatsby. He doesn't get that reference. Did you read the Great Gatsby?
Yes.
I didn't know what y'all
I
read
read
the
every
Joko.
word of Great Gatsby.
I don't know what y'all read in the Joko.
We didn't read that in Australia, so I'm probably going to have to go back and read it.
It's one of my favorites. I believe you.
Her eyes reminded me of money.
I didn't recall that part, but I recall the part where he was in the pool in the backyard.
Spoiler alert.
You know what Leonardo does in that?
So you watched the movie, is what you're saying.
I did both. You went.
You know, Robert Redford and Leonardo DiCaprio played that part.
I know.
Amazing.
Which one do you like better?
Oh, that's tough.
Well, but they're so different because Baz Luhrmann did the
all right,
the Leo version, and he's all over the place.
So Baz is very interesting.
Yeah,
So
screaming.
the thing
at
about
me.
Baz is that he's amazing use of color. Now I know that I know according to some of our viewers I'm very surface level, but it's interesting the way he uses color because in Australia, in Moulin Rouge, he really paints it.
Did he do the Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio too? I think he did.
He did.
I thought he did.
Yeah,
yes.
That makes sense. It's totally his style.
Oh yeah. So he's an amazing king of color.
How we got on Great Gatsby was Aaron was saying, let's just combine all the ages and what would that give us? And I said Great Gatsby and you said Gilded Age, let's go.
Yeah.
Which is right. And honestly, I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I when you look at
it's a little bit of excess with some quality.
Yeah.
And it's a little smoke and mirrors.
Absolutely. All whiskey's a little smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
So if this was available, what would you rank it?
That dog will hunt, but it's a high that dog will hunt. I like a 1920. It's good in an old fashioned. The 1915 mellows it out a little bit, which means
you like that or you don't like that?
I kind of like it because the 20 by itself is really strong. The 15 cuts it out, but it also adds a little bit more of the different flavors that the milk chocolate, and I like that milk chocolate taste. So I would say the 15. So if I were to rate it from, you have 1920, 1915, 1910. I think the 15 is the best of both worlds.
Okay.
So I would rate that over the 20 and then the 10 at the end. But the 10's still really good.
Yeah.
Like, I like the 10. The 20 is just, I like the higher proof that I can mix with, do whatever I want with it. But the chocolate from the 10 that I think I do like. So 15's better than both of those, I think.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
The sum of it is better than individual parts.
And you?
I agree. I would rate this Hush Your Mouth. I do think the combo is better than the sum than its original parts. Like the sum is better than the individuals. What about you, B?
I think we're very fortunate that we're living in an age where there's a lot of really good bourbon. We have a significant amount of bourbon that it's hard to dislike.
Yeah, it's quality.
I really thought when we started our show, we'd find more Piddlin, we'd find more
Bless Your Heart.
Bless Your Heart. And the reality is, if you're willing to spend $25 and up, you're going to find bourbon that's very accessible to drink.
Yeah.
The thing with the Whiskey Row series is people chase a lot of labels, but there's a lot of really good bourbon that's available on the shelf. And then you have this neat ability to mix it. And I find that interesting. I don't know that I would ever, and maybe this is my lack of knowledge, which is quite possible because I have a lack of knowledge of quite a few things. I would never think to go take 2 bottles of wine and pour them together and see what happens. Maybe I should.
Make a blend. Yeah.
Maybe I should. But with bourbon, okay, so I'm taking 2 things that have the same mash bill, that have been aged differently in the same char level. Let's see what happens. I know that's a long answer to a short question, but the reality is there's just a lot out there that is between That Dog Will Hunt and Hush Your Mouth. And what that comes down to a lot of times, quite frankly, is what's your price point? If you have a few more shekels to give, your Hush Your Mouth is your Dog Will Hunt. If you have a few less shekels to give, then you go be labeled your Dog Will Hunt. The 1920 20, I think, is around $60.
Right.
I think that depends on your point in life and your point in entry.
Mm-hmm.
The 1920 is fantastic. The 1910 is milk chocolate. I mean, it is.
And marshmallow.
Yeah, I mean, it's Cadbury. And I love Cadbury, right? So you mix those, you get something gorgeous.
Yeah, so in my the old house I used to stay in, I had the 1920 and my roommate had the 1910.
There you go.
He loved the 1910 just because it wasn't too overbearing. It
Yeah.
was pretty good. And it tasted like milk chocolate. He liked that flavor.
Yeah.
I like the 1920 because I could mix it and it would dilute down and be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So I think with us, it made sense why he wanted what he did and I wanted what I did. And so we did end up making 1915 best of both worlds, really.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed it a lot. So if you want one or the other, it's nice to have 1920 if you want that, 1910 if you want that. But nothing wrong with mixing it.
No. So with that,
What are you cheersing with? Babe?
well, I've definitely got the 19.
10.
Yeah, I've got the 1910. I've got the
Same.
milk chocolate. What you got?
15.
You got the 15, and you've got the.
It's the 10. The
All
marshmallow.
right, so we've got a good mixture here. We've put a hurting on all these.
we put a hurting on Old Forester.
Thank you for joining us behind the barrel.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having
You're
me.
Aaron, it
welcome
was
back
so fun to
anytime,
have you.
anytime.
We love to have you anytime.
Absolutely.
This has been a blast. And hey, cheers to Old Forester Fridays.
I don't know what we're going to do in June, but we'll figure it
We'll
out.
figure it out. And cheers to community over bourbon.
Yeah.
And cheers, y'all.
Yep.
They
Cheers,
said
y'all.
it too.
Cheers, y'all.